In this video, I'm going to show you how I order my plugins when processing vocals. But before we get started, my name is Ed, you're watching Stokes Sounds, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and leave a comment, and if you want to support the channel, head over to our website, stokesounds.com. Now let's dive in. So I've got a track pulled up here, the artist is Niall O'Connor. We're going to take a look at his lead vocal in this mix, and I'm going to show you kind of my thought process and how I approach the order of plugins. But before we get into that, let's actually just take a listen to the mix itself so you can hear what we're working with.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for a sign dumb to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you. Is it the look in your eyes? Oh, is it this dancing juice? Who cares, baby? I think I wanna marry you.
So you get the vibe there. You know, Niall is also a great vocalist, and that really does help when you're mixing vocals to start with a good vocalist. But let's actually just take a look at the plugins that I've used. You know, if I just bypass the plugins and just start from the very top, you can see here, you know, I've got a lead track and then I have like a lead vocal bus. So all of my leads go to the vocal bus, which is what I've labeled leads. Now, my first approach is I want to take things out that I don't like about the vocal. So whether that's S's, T's, clicks and pops, I kind of get rid of all of that first. And to attack kind of the S's and the T's, I use a de-esser, and that's kind of my first thing in the chain because, you know, I don't want to start adding compression. I don't want to start adding kind of harmonic elements to the vocal when there's problems to begin with already. So if we just listen to the vocals with no effects on and no plugins on, just as it was recorded.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for a sign dumb to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
So for instance, when he says to do on this part here,
Sign dumb to do.
you got the T's is quite sharp, you got the S's, and you know, you can really hear that. And you know, I have gone through and I have clip gained manually, but what I want to do is add like an auto function, i.e. a de-esser, to just kind of pick up any kind of bits that I may have missed or that was just kind of catching just that little bit too much to the ear, and I just want to control it. So that's kind of my first approach. And so the way that I do that is I've got the waves de-esser here. You can use any de-esser. A de-esser is a de-esser. It does the same. It's about how you do the settings. So unbypass it, and then let's actually just listen to what this de-esser kind of is doing. You can see it's really attacking that really high end. Now, if we have a listen with the actual audio on, with it not just the de-esser but the de-esser active.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for a sign dumb to do.
It's very subtle, and the way that I got this number at the minute, you know, the frequency that it's attacking is 4308. The way that I like to do this is I just hit the sidechain feature as I did earlier, and I just move the frequency up and down until it's getting a little bit sharp to my ears, and that's the bit that I want to approach the de-esser kind of on. So once you found your frequency that's annoying to your ears, depending on the vocalist, that will change whether it's a male or female vocalist, you then kind of want to aim to get around 2 or 3 dB of gain reduction on the de-esser. Now, of course, that really does depend on the song, on the singer, the dynamic of the vocalist. But I do feel like if you're doing more than kind of 3 dB of reduction on a de-esser, it can sound like the vocalist has a lisp. You're kind of cutting all the S's out, so you've got to be very kind of clever with how much you do. Just be careful, don't overdo it. You know, these plugins are great, but as soon as you overdo the plugins, they can kind of get a bit just, you know, you can just ruin your mix basically. So just be cautious about how much reduction you're doing on a de-esser. Then the next thing I want to think about is, you can see, as I mentioned earlier, I've got some clip gain going on, and I'm kind of just leveling out the vocals, finding problems. What I like to do, and shout out Leslie Brathwaite for kind of recommending this plugin, is the R compressor. And the R compressor is just kind of leveling out the vocal. You know, some singers are super dynamic. I mean, Niall isn't super dynamic, but he's dynamic enough that I kind of want to control him just a little bit more. Now, the vocals were recorded with a compressor on, but I just feel like I want to just add a little bit more compression. Usually on outboard compression, I kind of do around 2 dB of gain reduction because I don't want to over compress, because if you over compress, you're completely screwed when you then come down to the mix. So I go very lightly, and then what I'm doing with the R compressor is I'm just pushing that compressor just a little bit more than I was on the outboard, and just so I can kind of get that a bit more of a smoother level so I don't have to do too much riding. You can see up here, you know, there is a little bit of riding going on, but it's not drastic, and that's because I'm controlling that vocal. So if we have a look, I'm probably getting around maybe 1-2 dB. Again, just medium attack, medium release. It's just for pure control.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
So again, it's just, you know, 2 dB max. That's all I'm doing. Again, giving me more control. And then my approach is, now I've done my de-essing, I've done my controlling with the compressor. Now it's like, okay, now I want to do some EQ moves. I want to take some bits out that I don't want. I want to do some tonal shaping to the vocal. And in this instance, I've just got the Magma tube channel strip, and again, I love this channel strip. It's super easy to use. It's not complicated. You know, I'm doing a high pass filter at 60 hertz. There is no reason to have, you know, 60 hertz or below in a male or female vocal. There just isn't. You know, it's just going to be room, rumble from the mic. There's just no need. So don't put it in. You're wasting headroom. Now, of course, whatever I say, you know, there is always going to be times where things change, but I'm talking from a general point of view. You're probably not going to want more, you know, 60 hertz or below in your vocal. So if we actually just take a listen kind of with this plugin on, and then I'm going to turn it off, you're going to hear in this instance what this is doing with the actual tonal shaping of the vocal.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
Again, it's not drastic, but you can kind of hear it's kind of placing that vocal kind of a little bit forward. It's, you know, not doing any kind of compression with reduction, but just the plugin itself, it's just putting that vocal kind of in a position, which is kind of really what you want. You want to kind of sort the problems out, put the vocal in a position, and then add things to it. So here, you know, I'm adding a little bit of brightness. I don't know exactly, it's just a shelf. I don't know kind of where that's starting from in this plugin, but, you know, 2.6 dB, you know, if I just increase that so you can kind of really hear what that's doing.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do.
Just giving me the pop sound, and then we're taking out around some boxiness, kind of around 330-ish.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do.
And then I'm just doing nothing with the bass. I'm just leaving that as is, and then I've got a little bit of drive going on at the top.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
So again, it's just giving me a little bit of kind of grit, a bit dirtiness, you know, kind of the recordings are clean, but sometimes you just want to kind of dirty it up a little bit. So I'm just using that. But again, you know, it's not super necessary. It's just kind of, I'm just, you know, feeling it as I'm going with it. Now, my next approach is, so we've done the de-esser, we've done the controlling with the compressor, we've done some EQ moves, taking out some bottom end and kind of tonal shaping. Now what we want to do is kind of smooth out all the work that we've done. Now, I tend to go for like an Opto compressor in this case, like an LA2A, which you can see here, that's what I've got on. I see compressors as like tonal boxes. Different compressors have different sounds. So like a Fairchild sounds different to an LA2A, an LA2A sounds different to an 1176. This is more like a pop record where it's kind of like, you know, 1176 is quite gritty and dirty and attacking, where an LA2A is just great for like ballads and just smoothing out that vocal, getting that creamy vocal feel. That's kind of what I think about, you know, when I'm mixing, kind of what tools am I using and what am I going to get from that. So using this LA2A, if we just kind of listen with it in bypass now, and then we're going to unbypass it halfway through, and you're going to really hear what that's doing, and you'll be surprised it's not doing too much, but it's adding kind of tonal kind of shape to the vocal.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you. Is it the look in your eyes, Oh, is it this dancing juice? Who cares, baby? I think I wanna marry you.
So, you can hear there again, it's kind of adding this like creamy thickness to the vocal, which I like. It makes it sound kind of just a bit more kind of beefier and a bit more kind of in your face. And for this kind of genre of music and this kind of sound, that's kind of what you want. And then, that is basically my main vocal chain for this song. It doesn't need much. I see time and time again people with like 20 plugins on a vocal. Like, trust me, you want your audio to kind of be, especially if you're going for like a clean pop sound, you want it to be clean. And I kind of really believe that, the less processing you do and the cleaner the signal, the better the result is going to be, because you've kind of affected the audio signal less. Maybe that's not true, but that's just kind of how I kind of visually hear things. After that, that's like my main vocal, and then that gets sent out to my lead kind of vocal bus. And on here you can see I had some plugins, but I actually deactivated most of them and I just went with this one. Recently I've been using this. I don't know what it is, but it just has this kind of like pop vibe to it. It kind of adds this kind of 3K-ish, which usually I take out, but it's got a really nice kind of saturation in that the plugin itself, I'm not too technical on what this plugin is actually doing, but it just has a nice kind of flavor. So it's like my salt and vinegar, as I've mentioned before. So if we have a listen kind of with this on and off, you'll really hear what that's doing to the vocal.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you. Is it the look in your eyes? Oh, is it this dancing juice? Who cares, baby? I think I wanna marry you.
It kind of just, I call it the pop sound. I mean, you could use the fresh air, you could use a C4 to kind of boost up brightness. There's lots of different ways of doing it. But again, my thought process was this, I've done my EQ moves, I've done, some saturation, I've done compression and, de-essing at the start as well. And now it's like, I kind of want to bring up that vocal kind of back up. And so the way that I do that is by using this plugin, and that's kind of bringing that vocal kind of back up forward into the mix. And that's kind of my approach when it comes down to order of plugins. So what I'm going to do now is turn all of the plugins off that I've just shown you, and I'm going to turn them on one by one as I play the track, so you can really hear what the plugins are doing to the vocal.
It's a beautiful night, we're looking for something to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you. Is it the look in your eyes? Oh, is it this dancing juice? Who cares, baby? I think I wanna marry you.
And that's it. That's my approach on how I order plugins when it comes down to vocal mixing. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you've got any questions about what I'm doing or the thought process, then definitely put them down there and I'll get back to all of you. Also, don't forget I'm running one-on-one mix consultations. So if you're stuck on a mix, or you want to have some feedback, or you want to learn some tips, tricks, and techniques for you to apply in your own mixes, then definitely go and check that out. Thanks again, and I'll see you again next week for another video.